West Coast's premier podcast network.
Hi, this is Mama G. I have my PhD in parental household discipline. Whatever you have in your household, I probably raised it, taught it, loved it, spanked it, punished it, and definitely prayed over it.
The West Coast's premier podcast network.
Good evening, everyone. This is Ask Mama G from World Tune Radio TV. Good evening. And we're on Halloween Eve night. And tonight we have a special show because tomorrow is Halloween. And we're going to have some safety tips to tell you about. Also, we're going to talk to a special, handsome young man by the name of Mr. Vargas. He is running for mayor of Vista, California, but he's also the president of the school board. But let's talk about our Halloween safety tips. Now, you know, tomorrow night is Halloween. The spooky night is upon us. Now, decorations should be mostly at home. And this year, it'll be great to have an opportunity to decorate your home with your kids. However, this means choosing products that prove to be non-hazardous to your young children. Avoid small items that could pose a choking hazard. Use battery-powered flashlights and elimination of candles and to avoid open flames. Now, costume safety. Costume safety. Choose costumes without small choking hazards or drawstrings which can pose strangulation hazards. Remove the drawstrings from costumes that have hoods and they are good to go. Form-fitting costumes prevent tripping and fabric catching on fire. Use COVID-19 health masks even if a costume already has a mask. That's important. Place a reflective material on front and back of costumes in order to see and be seen by drivers. Very important because now it gets dark earlier. It gets real dark and it's hard to see some people at night. And if you use makeup or face paint, choose non-toxic products when using face paint, or make sure your child is not allergic by testing out a small patch beforehand, preferably a few days prior. Pumpkin carving seems like a family-friendly activity, but according to the control, approximately 44% of Halloween-related injuries occur from pumpkin carving. So we have to be careful. So please check what you're doing, and please don't accept any unwrapped food or candy while you're trick-or-treating. That is something we cannot do. We cannot accept that. And let your parents look at all the candy that you get. Go to events like at the mall, or if there's a festival at a church, it's called a harvest festival. Go there, but be safe. And if you go around your neighborhood, be safe around there too. But let's have a safe, happy Halloween, or for those people who don't say Halloween, harvest night. God bless. Now let's go and meet our handsome new special guest, Mr. Vargas. Hello, sir. How are you?
Good evening, Mama G. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing fine. Now, I understand that you want to run for mayor. Now, I need to know some things about you, where you're from, your family, what school did you go to, all that. So go ahead and tell me.
Perfect. Well, I'm running for mayor here in the city of Vista. And to me, as an individual that grew up in our community, went to our public schools, I've seen, both the progress for the city of Vista, but also the challenges. I was fortunate to have great educators that allowed me to become the first in my family to go to college. After graduating from Vista High School, I went to Cal State San Marcos. And at Cal State San Marcos, I majored in sociology and eventually, ended up becoming a kindergarten teacher. And
Ooh,
so I taught kindergarten, had a phenomenal time with 5 year olds. And, having that mentor there for these young kids and making sure that they had a quality education as they start off public education system. And, with that, part of the reason that led me to run for school board, where I now serve Vista Unified, where we have over 19,000 students, $330 million operating budget, and with the a lot that has been happening over the last 6 years when it comes to making sure that we have systems in place supporting our staff, and ultimately that our students graduates with the skills needed to be successful here in the 21st century.
that's wonderful. Now, I need you to say that in your native language for those who are watching this evening.
Absolutely. Mi nombre es Cipriano Vargas, candidato para alcalde aquí en la ciudad de Vista. Crecí en la ciudad y asistí a nuestras escuelas públicas, a donde me gradué de la preparatoria de Vista High School. Y luego asistí a la Universidad de Cal State San Marcos, donde fui el primero en mi familia en graduarme de la universidad. Y después fui maestro de kinder. Y es ahí donde aprendí a tener buenas relaciones y apoyar a nuestros estudiantes que tengan las oportunidades de alcanzar su potencial. Y parte de la razón porque ahora soy miembro de la mesa directiva en el Distrito Escolar de Vista es porque esa buena educación que quiero que todos tengan. Soy el presidente de la mesa directiva. Tenemos más de 19,000 estudiantes con un presupuesto de $330 millones y es un gran impacto por los últimos 6 años en la ciudad de Vista.
Very good. Thank you very much for doing it in
Absolutely.
English and in Spanish. Now, what are your policies for your city that you want to run for?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many local issues that, some of them are common themes across some of our cities here in North County. But at the first in the forefront is housing. We've got to make sure that, people are able to afford, especially if they grew up in our community. Currently in the city of Vista, over 60% of renters pay more than 30% of their salaries in rent, which makes it difficult when we're talking about the increase in gas, cost of living, food. And so for me, I want to make sure that we're building a city that is inclusive and that we are bringing people in and not pushing people out. Because as a school board president, we tell our kid, come to school, get good grades, go to college, but then they come back and they can't afford to live in their own city. And so for me, my plan is to build more housing for middle income families, for working families, but also keeping in mind that interconnected with that is homelessness. We see homelessness that has increased across the region. City of Vista is not unique because we also see it in Oceanside, we see it in Escondido. But at the same time, there's two things that we can do. We can be proactive by reducing homelessness before it starts. For example, the County of San Diego did a study. 1/4 of our homeless individuals are people over the age of 55. And so with, probably senior citizens on fixed income. And we know that rent has gone up by 40% in the last 8 years. But people that are on fixed income, they haven't seen that increase, and so that they are a paycheck away from being homeless. And so the county is doing this pilot program to help with rent subsidies because it costs about $130 a day to keep somebody in a shelter. But if we keep them in their house, even better. Second to that, making sure that we have a shelter in the city of Vista where people can get back on their feet and ultimately back into permanent supportive housing, that they have the wraparound services, that they have workforce development, that they have the mental behavioral support. Because it's not enough to just have housing. You have to have all these systems in place. And we've seen that in the school district. It's not just about a child and their teacher. It's about the parent engagement. It's
Right.
about making sure that we have the services. It's about making sure that they have the foods so that they're nutritious and that they can eat and that they can pay attention in the classroom. All these things that make a difference. Same thing with our cities, and when it comes to homelessness, making sure that they're supported so that individual can be successful. And lastly, making sure that we have a city that's reflective on the different needs. The city of Vista has a $90 million operating budget.
90 million?
90 million, although the school district has a $330 million budget. How do we get community input? Knocking on doors for the last 9 months, you hear a lot, and people are concerned about, lack of streetlights to the roads to more parks. But regardless of what people want, we can only make better decisions if we have that input, we engage the community, because at the end of the day, you go shopping in Vista and you pay a sales tax, and that sales tax goes back into the city revenue, and that budget should be a conversation and a dialogue and involve community, because the budget is the biggest thing that drives and can lead to successful outcomes for our community.
Okay, so you're running on the platform of housing.
Housing, reducing homelessness, and making sure that we engage communities along with keeping our community safe.
Now, does Vista have a police department, or is it with the sheriff?
They have a contract with the sheriff's department.
So would you expand that, or is that?
Oh, absolutely. I'm supportive of community policing, making sure that we're building those relationships, but also increasing the number of both, firefighters and law enforcement officers to be bilingual. Because another issue that, I've been seeing is, when I'm knocking on doors and there's a language barrier, I'm fortunate to be bilingual. But when a crime happens and a law enforcement officer is not able to communicate, and therefore the right information is not accurately captured, then it puts our entire community at risk. But in addition to that, making sure that we increase enforcement. Some of our neighbors want more streetlights, which also helps reduce with crime. Some neighbors want speed bumps, which help with cars that are going over excess miles when they're driving. And some neighbors just want more patrols in their neighborhood.
Now, there's some community members that would like for those who come to our country to learn English. So how do you feel about that?
Oh, I mean, we have been very supportive of that. With that, we do
Because
have.
that could help a language barrier in an emergency to have some kind of vocabulary in English.
Absolutely. And I think it's not one thing or the other. We have our Vista Adult School in Vista, which services, a huge chunk of adults in the North County region. And with we do have English classes. We have classes to become citizens. We do other, classes that provide training, such as, how to do an Excel sheet, how to make sure that you know how to do PowerPoint. And so those are all skill sets that we should definitely push and maximize and integrate. And at the same time, we have dual language schools in our school district that opened up 4 years ago. And with that, making sure our youth, regardless of your race, if you're Black, Brown, Latino, that you're bilingual, because it's going to be a benefit in the long term.
That's wonderful. So you want to build more parks? How many parks does Vista have so far?
There's about 29.
29 parks.
Yep.
And do they have a soccer one for kids to play in soccer?
They do have a sports complex. So that was approved. And with it, it's a beautiful setting. But part of the challenge is it really does depend on where you live. One of the things that this pandemic has taught us is that, access to outdoor recreation is crucial. And so with, some of them could be partnerships with the school district. Some of them could be partnerships with the county. Some of it could be like making sure that we identify spots, empty lots that are currently being unused, and convert them into pocket parks. They don't have to be, a 2-acre park with a pool. But if we create these small pocket parks, that's an extra opportunity there to build that bridge and communities where there is no access to those services currently.
So how long have you been on the school board?
Yeah, no, I've been on the school board for 6 years now. So it's been a long 6 years, but with, happy to of the work we've been able to accomplish, and, the things that are coming down the pipeline. One big thing that just happened is we got about $6.2 million for community schools. And community schools is, once again, wraparound services that, we're looking at the child and what are the needs of that child holistically, both, mental,
Right.
food, dental, and so we have partners like Vista Community Clinic, but we also have the education enrichment services that provides access to pre-K, and with engaging the parents because we can't do it alone. And
Right.
it's this type of leadership that I wish to bring to City Hall, bringing partners together because when we're working together, we can do a lot more than one single person doing one thing at a time.
Now, what is the percentage of the Latino Mexican vote in your city? Is it high?
There are about 50% of the entire population. Vista has about 100,000 people that currently live there. But keep in mind that a significant portion of Latinos are under the age of 18, so they're in our schools.
Right.
And so it's a growing population. At the same time, the average age of the Vista resident is 31, so it's a younger population.
Oh,
And with it, there's definitely, a smaller electoral, but we're engaging everybody to come out and vote and making sure that they play a critical in this election because our current mayor has been there for the last 12 years, and
oh.
she decided not to run again. So we have a very unique opportunity to help shape the next decades of Vista.
And you will be the first handsome Latino young man to be in office?
If elected, there's probably going to be a record of being one of the youngest elected officials in the region, but at the same time, coming with experience, coming with the drive, and coming with the commitment of serving our community.
Oh, this is going to be an exciting race, I see. Um, oh, it's just, okay, so my concern was the school board because, as you know,
Hmm.
I am an involved parent, and I was concerned of how they treated the disabled students
Hmm.
in Vista. Because when my son attended Rancho Buena Vista High
Hmm.
School, he was a savant individual, and that means that he has a musical gift.
Hmm.
And the teacher refused to allow him to be in the band. Will that be better for another disabled child to participate with the regular school body, student body, I should say,
Hmm.
because it was heartbreaking,
Yep.
and they are human too.
Yep. No, and this is where I see, there's definitely been a lot of changes in education because every child should have access to the same programs, regardless of what school they attend, regardless of what zip code they come from. And music is one of those things that, opens up minds. And, for some students, that's what keeps them in school,
Exactly.
but their talent. And, I'm proud, 2 Saturdays ago, we had our Vista Arts Festival. And, I would love to have you there because we had over 30 performances from our elementary schools
Right.
to our middle schools and high schools. But one thing we forget is how do we build that pipeline? Because it's not to say that it's too late by the time that somebody gets to high school, but what if we build that love for music and creativity in the elementary level and they build upon that in the middle school? So by the time they are in high school, it's they're better off, they have more opportunities and they know what their own talent. And at the same time, what is it that they ultimately want to do? And if it's the arts, great. If it's engineering, great. If it's uh, auto shop or some of our career technical education, great, but making sure that we open up those minds because every single child is brilliant. How do we tap that potential?
Now, because of COVID,
Hmm.
have you increased some of the tutoring opportunities? Because I know some students did get behind in a mental capacity
Hmm.
of not going to school. So, Mr. Mayor elect, I'm going to say Mr. Mayor elect, because I think you'll make a good candidate for mayor.
We have 9 more days, so almost there.
9 more days. So that's important for everybody to go out and vote.
Absolutely.
Go out and vote. We're not trying to tell you who to vote for, but read the propositions. Now, is there any propositions that you are currently supporting?
So let me go back because you had a very good question about learning loss. And
Right.
so on learning loss, we have seen the academic impact across all of our students. We know that some students did well in online learning, but we know most of our students struggled. And so this is one of the few times where we have seen greater investment in public education. And it's unfortunate it took a pandemic to invest so much money into education. But now that we're here, we as a school district have added extra teachers. We have added extra counselors. We had added summer schools for learning loss. We have specific teachers that focus on learning loss and making sure that they target the students who need it. Because yes, there was some loss in academic gains from certain pockets of students. And so, how do we get back on track? And at the end of the day, making sure that we use this funding because we know what works. We know that when you invest in public education, that's one of the greatest return on investment. When our kids have those skills, when they have the resources, and they're not out there, just in an iPad, not managing their time effectively, but there's structure, and at the same time that our staff are there to support. And with we will continue to use that funding. It expires in 2026, so we have a little more over 4 years to spend that funds.
Oh, that is wonderful. So, and this will be your first run at mayor. If you didn't win this time, would you consider running again?
Absolutely. I mean, I am in Vista. Vista is the community that I grew up in, and I love my community and serving it. And whatever we can do to make sure that we have the best elected officials, but at the same time, democracy demands participation. Doesn't matter if you're an elected official or if you're a regular citizen or a PTA mom. Our democracy works better when people are active and engaged. It doesn't matter, what side of the city you live in. It doesn't matter your income, but at the end of the day, we all have a voice and we all have a vote. Let's make sure that we're active.
So I want to go off a little further.
Mhm.
How do you feel about the activities that are going towards elections now? Are you concerned of the policies of someone saying, no, we need to overturn this, we don't want this? Do you think that could happen in your community?
Overturn what, like specifically?
You're like, okay, say for instance, the mayor race,
Mhm.
you win, and there's some people who don't want you to win. Are you concerned about, because that does happen
Got
in
it.
other states and in other communities? Are you concerned about some extremist people in your community that wouldn't want you to be mayor? That could happen.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has a choice to vote for their preferred candidate. I trust our system in making sure that it's a fair process and that every person that's eligible to vote has the opportunity to vote. Now, what I'm more concerned about is the people that actually do not vote, the people that sit in the sidelines and they have their ballot here in the state of California and they don't submit that ballot. But for me, that's why we've been knocking on doors for the last 9 months. Every single weekend, you'll see me out there knocking on doors. And you'd be surprised how many people, even today, like, oh, you're Cipriano, you're the candidate for mayor. I thought you would be in your office and not talking to people. Like, no, like as the elected official and as a candidate, it is my job to knock on doors to hear what people have to say and making sure that at the end of the day, even if we don't agree on everything, that they know where I stand, that they know my issues, and that they make an informed decision. And I trust the process of every vote being casted is going to be followed through. Here in the state of California, you can track your ballot, or you can vote on November 8th and go to the voting center, and that your vote will be counted.
Oh, that's good. Now, do you have any siblings, or is there a significant other in your life?
Right now, no significant other, but I have a big family. I have four brothers and four sisters.
Oh,
Uh,
your
you
mother
know,
and father were very busy.
Absolutely, and they all are within proximity of Vista, and so with one of the great things about that is that the people that I went to school with or the people that my siblings went to school with, like they know me, they know who I am, they know my values, they know that uh, I'm if elected, I will do my best job to represent the residents of Vista.
That's wonderful. So, young ladies, he's available. I just want to let you know he's available and he's handsome. So, watch out. That was my little sidebar for you.
Thank you
But
for that.
I am just elated over your knowledge of your city. It's amazing, and I really believe that you could win. I'm hoping that everybody does vote. Now, I did allow everyone a chance to come to the show, Mr. Vargas responded. So I'm not being biased. I met all the candidates at the forum, at the candidate forum at St. Francis Church, and I gave everyone my card and invited them to come to the show. Mr. Vargas said yes. So I don't want to get any letter saying, why didn't you have this person? I gave everybody the opportunity to come to the show. They did not respond. And I'm glad Mr. Vargas did. And I'm going to my first commercial and we'll be back. See you soon.
World Tune Radio, where the world tunes in. The West Coast's premier podcast network.
Hi, I'm As Mama G from World Tune Radio TV. Whatever you have in your household, I probably raised it, loved it, taught it, spanked it, and definitely prayed over it with God's help. The reason why I have this show, because God has allowed me to raise 4 different children. I've raised the super talented one, I've raised the Special Olympics one, and then God sent that challenging one. I even raised that prestigious private school one. See, Rory Graham Jr. was the first African American cadet to ever serve as chaplain at that prestigious private school, Army and Navy Academy. Unfortunately, in 2009, he passed away. So the former general asked the family to start a foundation to inspire the young men in the community at an Army Navy Academy. In the community, we do a Dress for Success, where we take the senior boys at General Murray High School and give them a white shirt and a tie for their picture day. You know, there's many ways you can help us. One way is go to your phone and go to Cash App. Cash App RG Junior JR Foundation. Any amount will help. Then you can always mail it in to P.O. Box 4306, Oceanside, California, 92052. Hey family, now you know I got everything you need to buy. I have my purses here. In fact, they so big you can put a child in them. Then I have the backpacks for the kids to take to school. Then I have the different color of hats. I got the hot pink, the pale pink, the 2 black ones for the men. It says Billy and Lacey and As Mama G. So, and then I got the t-shirts for y'all to wear. I got the cute one with my beautiful face on it. Then I have Billy and Legacy, because you know that's what you're doing. All proceeds go to the Rory Graham Jr. Foundation. No, they don't go to my Cadillac. I don't have a Cadillac, if you want to know. So please, donate whatever you can to the Rory Graham Jr. Foundation. Thank you.
This is Studio A. It features a 200 square foot soundstage and a 12 by 10 foot cyc wall. 10 programmable RGB LED lights allow you to fully customize your backdrop and create the perfect look for your production. It's used for podcasts, live streams, films, and music videos. This space is as dope as it gets. Click the link in the description below for prices and packages.
Hi, I'm Ryan with Media Makers, and this is Chris. And what we do here is make media. Not that TikTok stuff, dope stuff like this. And this. We've done everything from flyers to music videos, songs to films, commercials to tap dances. We make media basically everywhere. And what we want to do is teach you how to make media. Not just teach you how to make media, but teach you to make dope media. We offer all types of programs, and the goal is accessibility. Accessibility. We don't want your creativity to be hindered, so we invest in state-of-the-art technology to make sure that your dream gets out of your head and onto the camera. camera. I've been teaching media for over 10 years, and I've seen the stuff that y'all make. I'm not impressed. You need my help. I've had lots of talented students come in and out of this studio, and now I want you to be our next great media maker. We're gonna flip off to something. We've got on-campus programs, after-school programs, internships, summer camps, space rentals, equipment rentals. What more do you need to make some dope stuff? Let me know and we might get it for you. As a functioning production studio, we got clients coming in and out, and you will be a part of that production process. We put you in the driver's seat. At Media Makers, you make the media. It's all student curated, baby. For more information, go to www.mediamakers.org. Follow us on Instagram at MediaMakers.org.
Instincts going low, looking bad like a bat with an eye patch. All black through the woods with a backpack and a lit match. Spark one time, get the whole city looking like a dark shade of orange when I burn it down. What it is, what it do, Hogan. And everybody looking at me while I got them all in my sights. Picking them off, taking them out, looking like daylight in the night. And I'm killing so many if they really wanna get involved. And everybody falling from the elevator, now I'm Bray Rice in this. It's like I'm rice and take a bite, it's nice and I have a nice time with it. By the time that it finds the way to the right side of him, not even a Heimlich can save him. A selective finger to you imbeciles. Tell me what's been getting into you, envy will kill you. She said I'm a gentleman, I admit a lot of women set up on my ottoman. I don't give a damn like an auto with no time to kill. I've been feeling like the opposite of work, it's a work and it never been a purposeful thing to me. I just do what I love and it works for me. So I'm freaking every check, I put the money in the pushing. Better be gunning to the finish and the getting of it, but everybody know I'm working in the sea. I do it differently, so only time will give me everything that I deserve. My end.
The mission that revolves around Hoopball has more to do about the essence, right? And ultimately, what we want to provide, what we want to participate in, is a way of working, is a way of collaborating. The mission of Hoopball is ultimately creating an environment where we can foster incredible relationships and ultimately have fun, enjoy what this game brings, the joy, the passion, and the connectivity with everyone. We are a management and leadership consulting company, right, for the sports industry. So the services provide management, leadership tools to help improve and enhance the workspace, the environment space, the player space, so that everyone can excel.
Hi, I'm As Mama G from World Tune Radio TV. Whatever you have in your household, I probably raised it, loved it, taught it, spanked it, and definitely prayed over it with God's help. The reason why I have this show, because God has allowed me to raise 4 different children. I've raised a super talented one. I've raised a Special Olympics one. And then God sent that challenging one. I even raised that prestigious private school one. See, Rory Graham Jr. was the first African-American cadet to ever serve as chaplain at that prestigious private school, Army and Navy Academy. Unfortunately, in 2009, he passed away. So the former general asked the family to start a foundation to inspire the young men in the community at an Army Navy Academy. In the community, we do a Dress for Success, where we take the senior boys at General Murray High School and give them a white shirt and a tie for their picture day. You know, there's many ways you can help us. One way is go to your phone and go to Cash App. Cash App RG Junior JR Foundation. Any amount will help. Then you can always mail it in to P.O. Box 4306, Oceanside, California 92052. Hey family, now you know I got everything you need to buy. I have my purses here. In fact, they so big you can put a child in them. Then I have the backpacks for the kids to take to school. Then I have the different color of hats. I got the hot pink, the pale pink, the two black ones for the men. It says Billy and Lacey and Ask Mama G. So, and then I got the t-shirts for y'all to wear. I got the cute one with my beautiful face on it. Then I have Billy and Legacy, because you know that's what you're doing. All proceeds go to the Rory Graham Jr. Foundation. No, they don't go to my Cadillac. I don't have a Cadillac, if you want to know. So please, donate whatever you can to the Rory Graham Jr. Foundation. Thank you. Hi, this is Mama G. I have my PhD in parental household discipline. Whatever you have in your household, I probably raised it, taught it, loved it, spanked it, punished it, and definitely prayed over it.
The West Coast's premier podcast network. World Tune Radio, where the...
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. We are back. Back with Mr. Vargas. He's a handsome young man. But right now, I need to talk about breast care awareness. Breast cancer screening facts. Number one, yearly mammograms are recommended starting at the age of 40 and continuing as long as a woman is in good health. But nowadays, they say even earlier, especially if you have history. Clinical breast exams about every 3 years, that's been changed to maybe every 2 years. And if you have history of more than one person with breast cancer, you need to go every year. Women should know how their breasts normally look and feel and report any breast changes. That is absolutely correct. Go in the mirror and look at your body. Look how it's shaped. Look how it feels. And if you feel any lumps, any bumps, write them down. Call your physician or your clinic. And get a self-exam immediately as an option for some women starting in their 20s. Talk to your doctor about history and whether you should have additional tests at earlier age. I just said that. And do you know there's another disease of breast cancer, and it's called inflammatory breast cancer. That means that one breast is bigger than the other, and you need to go have that checked out. But most importantly, Mr. Vargas, 1% of breast cancer patients are men. So men, please get checked. Go to your physician and say, I want to have my breast checked. And they will demonstrate how you do it. You do it in a circular motion around your breast, very lightly, so you can feel anything that is strange. So that's my tip for breast cancer. And today is the last, no, tomorrow is the last day of breast cancer. See my beautiful balloons? I still want everyone to get checked and have a safe life. So let's get back to Mr. Vargas. Now, during the commercial, he shared with me about his personal life. He is the middle child. So we can continue that conversation. Go ahead and tell us.
Yep. No, with the, I'm one of nine children, and I'm fourth in the line of my siblings. And with the, growing up, I got to, um, use many of my older siblings' pants and jeans. And so as a little boy, I'm like, why can't I get new clothes, mom? And so, now recognizing, I'm grateful for, the opportunity that my parents provided me, the food, the shelter, and most importantly, having a loving family.
So so you got the hand-me-downs. So now you buy your own new clothes now, huh?
Absolutely.
Now, I was looking on the television today, and there was a cultural activity. I want you to explain to me.
Hmm.
The day of the day of you celebrate the Day of the Dead,
Yep. It's Dia de los Muertos.
and what is that?
So we recognize our loved ones who have passed away, and so there is an altar that we create, and with it we bring pictures of whether it's family members, loved ones, heroes, and in the culture, and with we bring their favorite food, their favorite drinks to represent the memories of those that have now passed. But in addition, recognizing and how those ties are still strong in our own lives, and recognizing the impact that they had, whether it's a loved parent or a sibling, or in some cases the recognizing iconic leaders such as Cesar Chavez, but making sure that we pay tribute to those that came before us.
Now, is that a week-long celebration or a day celebration? How long is that celebration?
It's a day celebration, but here in San Diego County, you have different communities doing like events, and we had, for example, Dia de los Muertos today in the city of Vista at Cohomi Park, but also there was another one in Encinitas. So depending on what events they're planning, it could be held in different days, but there's one specific day in general.
Now, I saw on TV that they do have this, they use skeletons.
Mhm.
Oh, that's interesting. I thought it was a Halloween thing until the reporter told me it was the Day of the Dead. That's interesting. That's very interesting. And I saw the food. I was like, oh, I need to go to this program. I had a lot of food there. And I appreciate the information because I didn't know.
Yeah.
And so, what I want you to do right now is tell your Hispanic audience or voters why they need to vote for you in your native language, please.
Perfect. Otra vez, Cipriano Vargas aquí. Es importante de votar en estas elecciones porque los candidatos de la ciudad son los candidatos que van a representar y qué queremos hacer con el presupuesto de la ciudad. Arreglar las carreteras, arreglar y hacer más banquetas, agregar más luces alrededor de la ciudad, programas para nuestros niños, para cuando salgan de las escuelas tengan programas y recursos donde ellos puedan aprender y pasar un buen tiempo en vez de hacer cosas que no estén bien. Y también tener un líder aquí en la comunidad que conozca los obstáculos y que tenga una visión para apoyar familias trabajadoras, para apoyar viviendas que sean a un costo razonable, para asegurarnos que todos los miembros de nuestra comunidad estén seguros y que reduzcamos el número de gente que vive en la calle o en sus carros. Mi nombre es Cipriano Vargas y sería un honor tener sus votos en estas elecciones de noviembre y votar por un líder que tiene el récord de abogar por nuestra comunidad. Gracias.
So, those voters, and we've interviewed this wonderful young man in English and in Spanish. So if you want to know about Mr. Vargas, just listen to our show. He's answered the questions in English and in Spanish, and he told you in his native language why you should vote for him. And I think we've done a fair job of that. So, Mr. Vargas, like right now, I need you to tell us in English why we should vote for you and what entails of your future for the city.
Absolutely. Once again, thank you for the opportunity. I'm really running on a track record that puts community at the center, making sure that we have housing for working families, for middle class families, and that we are not pushing people out. But in addition to that, homelessness, it's increased in the city of Vista by 49%. And with the new mayor this election cycle, we need leadership that's going to be proactive and active on tackling these issues, from bringing federal and state funding to solve homelessness, making sure that we're working with the County of San Diego, where I currently work with on mental behavioral health, but also making sure that we have a city council and a mayor that's going to put our community at the center, that's going to engage, making sure that workshops are held in times where people are able to attend, that we get your feedback, because the city of Vista has a $90 million operating budget. And with that, your needs should be reflected on that. We can't do everything, but we have to do a better job of hearing your input, making sure that residents know how their city council works, what are the things that are within the jurisdiction of city council, and creating those processes to gather that feedback so that when the budget is voted on, that we make sure that we do our best. And lastly, keeping our community safe, whether it's people that want more street lights, whether it's people that want more law enforcement present, or whether it's making sure that we have staff that are bilingual and that we tackle these issues that everybody in our community is safe. It would be my honor to have your support. Make sure you either mail that ballot in or vote on November 8th.
Now, do you know any locations of your voting spots in Vista? Do you have any knowledge of that?
So right now there's two ballot drop-off locations. The first one is at the Vista Library, and the second one, there's a box off of Fraser Farms. People can drop it off there. But also during election day, you can go to the Vista City Hall at the Vance Community Room or the Vista Innovation Center. Those are two drop-off locations where people could take their ballots. And if you lost your ballots, you can go there and vote provisionally as well.
Now, a lot of political officers will have open days where your constituents can come and talk to you. Are you going to have that open door policy when you become mayor?
Mama G, that is one of my favorite questions. And the reason I say this is because 6 years ago, when I was first elected to the Vista School Board, the very first thing I did is I put my cell phone number, my personal email on the district website so that people could get a hold of me. And my cell phone number and my email is still on that website till this day. People have no trouble finding that and calling me, and with the, making sure that I'm being accessible. So my commitment to our community leaders and our residents is to have those open office hours, just to have community town halls, making sure that we're being more proactive, because once again, the mayor's job is to work for the people and they should have that direct line of communication. I'm not in Sacramento. I'm not in Washington, D.C. I'm in Vista. This is where I was born and raised, and it would be an honor once again to serve the community.
Now, do you have a shelter facility here in Vista? Will you try to get another one built?
Shelter for the homeless?
Yes.
So there's two. There's Operation Hope, and with that, they service family members that are currently on house, and at the same time recognizing that most of our current homeless are single males, and so that's where we need to make the biggest dent. And we definitely, could take advantage. At the same time, the City of Vista does have a contract with La Posada in Carlsbad and Interfaith in Escondido. But that's a challenge of distance, where some of our unhoused neighbors don't want to go there because it's too far away, and then they have to figure out how to get back into the City of Vista, where they may have family or children that live here, and they rather stay here versus going to one of the shelters that the city contracts out.
Okay, so I'm trying to make sure I understand this. You already have two facilities that are helping homeless people now, right?
We have two. They're not run by the city though. They are separate from the city.
Oh, okay. Do you think Vista should have one by themselves?
I think when we talk about homelessness, there's not going to be a silver bullet, just like public education. There's not one single tool that's going to solve everything.
Right.
And so you have to have multiple tools in your tool belt. The city of Vista would benefit from a shelter. We just saw that city of Oceanside got $3 million from the federal government, $3 million from the County of San Diego. Vista should be advocating for those resources also to come, because it's going to take a collective effort. And we can't just simply wait and do nothing, because it's only going to get worse. Here's one quick fact. the city of Vista is going to see 8,000 more people in the next 10 years. Where are those 8,000 people going to go? Are we going to have more homelessness? Well, if we don't build the right type of housing, it could lead to more homelessness. And so we must be proactive, and it starts now.
Now you stated that you had $300 million, correct?
That's for the school district.
Oh, that's for the school
Mhm.
district. Oh, now how many high schools does Vista have? Two?
We have 5.
Oh, you have two alternative. I don't like to say the schools that children are trying to get their credits back up. I don't like to say
Mhm.
continuation school. I like to say alternative school. As you know,
Right.
I volunteered at one for many years, and I still do volunteer. So, does that money goes towards those schools also?
Yeah, so we have a $330 million budget, and we have formulas that we use from the state. Our high school students tend to get more money per individual versus our elementary and middle school students. But all that money is divided upon, and we also have what you call Title One schools,
Right.
which have a higher concentration of low income students, and so those schools get additional funding for additional services that the board gets to decide. And we have with that, we do have a process, and we have a blueprint. And so with it, we engage our students, we engage our staff, we engage community. They give us their feedback. And in situations where we additional funding, we get to discuss, well, what do we want to do with that funding, or if there are still gaps, what can we do to make sure that we're meeting those gaps.
Well, I want to hint now that they should put more money to the Dress for Success program at Murray High School. Just a hint.
Perfect.
But anyway, now we're going to talk about our birthday shout outs. As you know, I let my guests do the birthday shout outs. So Mr. Vargas is going to say happy birthday to special people at this time.
All right. Well, thank you and happy birthday for those that are having another opportunity to celebrate. So happy birthday to Patricia Livingston, James Kersey, Jeff Serrata, Anthony Townsend, Troy Owen Sr., Dr. Myron Hall, Jeff Mays, Tanisha McCullough, Michelle Mosley, and Beverly Smith. Congratulations. Hope you all had a wonderful time.
So we thank God that God has allowed you to see another day. We hope that this next year of your life will be a wonderful, productive life. And you just have a wonderful time being another year older because somewhere, somehow, somebody is not celebrating a birthday. So take advantage of that. Be happy that you're alive and healthy. And I want to thank my guest, Mr. Vargas, for coming. He was a perfect gentleman. And we need you guys to vote because, as you would agree with me, democracy is on the ballot.
Absolutely.
We don't want anybody to come up and say, we don't like this election, so we're going to change it. So I want you to tell the people in English and in your native language, to vote, please.
Well, thank you so much for the invitation. As a reminder, election is in 9 days, November 8th. People should have received their mail ballots. If you lost, you can still vote. If you want to register to vote today, you can go to one of the voting centers. But most importantly, make sure you use your voice and your vote. Es importante que votemos en estas elecciones. Faltan 9 días para las elecciones de noviembre y su boleta ya hubiera sido recibida en su casa. Si la ha perdido, todavía puede ir a votar el 8 de noviembre en las casillas de votación o se puede registrar para votar en ese mismo día. Por importante de usar nuestra voz, nuestro voto y que votemos en estas elecciones del 8 de noviembre.
Now, everybody has heard the reason why you should vote in English and in Spanish. So don't sit at home and say, I don't know the reason why to vote. We have told you, we have shared with you the reason why you should go vote. Please stay safe and listen to these safety tips again for tomorrow night. Check if your costume or decorations have been recalled at recalls. Go on your computer and read about if your costume has been recalled. Stay safe, stay in your group, go to something that's safe. Don't accept anything that hasn't been wrapped. Show all of your candy to your parents. Wear things that people can see in the night as you're walking down the street and crossing the street. Don't stay out late. Everybody should be in their homes no later than 9 o'clock. And this is what Mama G would say. If I had my children trick-or-treating, they would be in the house by 9. I don't care if you're 25 living in my house. The later you stay outside, the crazier it gets. So everybody should be in their house no later than 9 o'clock. Be safe. And next Sunday, I'm going to be at the Carlsbad Village Fair. So come to the Carlsbad Village Fair and search for me. I'll be in one of the spots. They haven't given me my exact spot, but I am going to be there shaking hands, talking to people, taking pictures, asking for donations. I'll be selling jewelry, my hats that says Building a Legacy in pink and in black. And those are $20. And my purses are $25. So come, and all proceeds of the sales go to the Rory Graham Jr. Foundation. As you know, Rory Graham Jr. was the first African American cadet at Army Navy Academy to serve as chaplain for 3 years. He passed away, and the Academy asked me to start a foundation to inspire the other African American cadets at the school to stay and become successful. Now, in the community, I have a Dress for Success at the alternative high school at General Murray High School, where we teach the young men, if you want to when you graduate and you go for a job interview, a school interview, or any important employment, please dress neat, because your first impression is your lasting impression. So, gentlemen and ladies in the community, be productive. Go vote Tuesday, November the 8th. If you're 18 and above, go vote, because your democracy is at hand. There are extremists who don't want anybody but their own people in office, and that's not fair. America was born and built on being fair to everyone and everyone and those who vote. So please go to the polls on Tuesday, November the 8th, and vote your conscience. You have a wonderful evening. I'll see you next Sunday at the Carlsbad Village Fair. You have a wonderful week. And then I'll see you in the middle of November. My next show will be in the middle of November, and I will post that on Facebook. But God bless you, and may He keep you is our prayer. Good night. Hi, I'm Ask Mama G from World Tune Radio TV. Whatever you have in your household, I probably raised it, loved it, taught it, spanked it, and definitely prayed over it with God's help. The reason why I have this show, because God has allowed me to raise 4 different children. I've raised the super talented one. I've raised the Special Olympics one. And then God sent that challenging one. I even raised that prestigious private school one. See, Rory Graham Jr. was the first African American cadet to ever serve as chaplain at that prestigious private school, Army and Navy Academy. Unfortunately, in 2009, he passed away. So the former general asked the family to start a foundation to inspire the young men in the community at Army Navy Academy. In the community, we do a Dress for Success, where we take the senior boys at General Murray High School and give them a white shirt and a tie for their picture day. You know, there's many ways you can help us. One way is go to your phone and go to Cash App. Cash App RG Junior JR Foundation. Any amount will help. Then you can always mail it in to P.O. Box 4306, Oceanside, California, 92052. Hey family, now you know I got everything you need to buy. I have my purses here. In fact, they so big you can put a child in them. Then I have the backpacks for the kids to take to school. Then I have the different color of hats. I got the hot pink, the pale pink, the two black ones for the men. It says Billy and Lacey and Ask Mama G. And then I got the t-shirts for y'all to wear. I got the cute one with my beautiful face on it. Then I have Billy and Legacy, because you know that's what you're doing. All proceeds go to the Rory Graham Jr. Foundation. No, they don't go to my Cadillac. I don't have a Cadillac, if you want to know. So please, donate whatever you can to the Rory Graham Jr. Foundation. Thank you.